we are problem solvers, right? We are there to solve problems, and uh, and learning a language is just a matter of time. If you can code something in language X, you can also code in something in language Y. You just need to learn it.
Hello and welcome to Beyond Code Conversation with Recro. Beyond Code is an interactive series of conversation with experienced developers where we talk about everything that a developer would like to know beyond code. I'm your host Rashmi, and today we are going to talk about working at Microsoft, interview experience, journey, learnings, and perks. Our guest speaker for today is Aashish Barnawal, who has worked with Microsoft for 7+ years and is currently working for Amazon. Today, he is going to answer all your questions that you would have with respect to working at Microsoft and how you can get in. Thank you so much, Ashish, for joining us and taking out your time. Welcome to Beyond Code Conversation.
Thank you for introducing me, Yasmi, and it's really good to be here and talk about like my experience and my journey about Microsoft and Amazon.
So, Ashish, let's get started. Please let us know a little bit about yourself.
So to start with, basically, I hail from a small town in North India. Uh, I was always dreaming about like becoming a software engineer because I was inspired by Bill Gates, who founded Microsoft. And I was in the impression that if I crack Microsoft, basically, I will be the richest person in the world. I will one of the richest person in the world. And that started my curiosity about computer science and engineering. And that is why basically I took engineering, and I got admission in Kalinga University, popularly known as KIT University Bhubaneswar, and got into like computer science and engineering. Uh, I didn't really know anything about there, but I got lucky, and my passion about like problem solving mathematics led me to practicing like data structure algorithms. And when Microsoft came into campus, right, I was able to crack it, and that was the beginning of my journey basically. So then I worked at Microsoft for like 7 years, and after that I quit my job there and relocated to Canada to work at Amazon. So this is like my professional journey. Apart from that, apart from work, basically uh, I like to spend time in playing piano, doing photography, and writing blogs.
Awesome, awesome. Ashish, for how long did you work at Microsoft? And can you tell us a little bit about your role at Microsoft and what projects did you work on?
Yeah, so I worked at Microsoft for like 7+ years. I joined Microsoft in mid 2013, and I worked till like September 2020. So my role was basically I was a software engineer. I was responsible for delivering features in big projects, uh, fixing bugs, and basically communicating to team about the design and all those things. Uh, Working on basically a betterment of the customer experience. So for some of the projects, I basically worked on an array of projects during my tenure there. So I started to like working on like Microsoft Excel, PowerPoint, Word. I also worked on SharePoint, and basically my work was related to like a variety of platforms. I worked on Android, iOS, Windows, uh, web, everything that you can think of. So this was a very diverse experience. If I think of it, like 7 different projects, and then so many different languages, so many different platforms. So really nice experience there.
Can you tell us a little more about, how did Microsoft happen to you? Where were you working before Microsoft?
This is a very interesting journey. The reason is basically I am from a middle class family, right? And nobody in my family was a software engineer before, and basically there was no good resource there. I remember my childhood being like there was no electricity for like 8 months, and I had to basically read, study under lantern and all those things. So it was a really difficult thing, and there was no internet at that time. So it was really difficult to know like what's going on and how to take help and all those things. So I think it was my passion that really kicked in, and my passion for like mathematics and problem solving, and that's where the entire interest for computer science started, right? So I got admission in Kalinga, and at that time I was checking placement record of Kalinga and found that basically Microsoft visited the campus, and 8 people were placed. So I was thinking that if Microsoft reached Kalinga, that Kalinga must be a good college, if not bad. And then I took admission. And when I went into college, basically I didn't know anything about programming. It was just that I really enjoyed it because it was, if you think about it, basically it is about problem solving. Everything around the world, everything that you see, which has tech behind it, is a problem that needs to be solved, right? And because of that, basically, I was really fascinated, like how you can write few lines of code and the problem gets solved. And because of that, basically, I started taking interest in different solving problems from different resources. And one of the resources that I came across was Project Euler. So Project Euler is basically an amalgam of mathematics and computer science. So and coding basically. So you take the problem, you solve it on paper, derive some formula, and then you write the code to solve it, and then you feed the answer in that Project Euler site, and then it will tell you, okay, the problem is solved. So that was the start of my journey. My initial journey was like I started with one language. I learned C, then I went to C++, and those are the only two languages that I was really learning in my college. I was focusing more on problem solving skills. And then I came across a book by Narasimha Karamachi, Data Structure and Algorithms Made Easy. So I was really fascinated because it showed me that there can be multiple ways to solve the same problem. So you think that you can solve a problem in one way, but then the book will tell you that no, there's a better way. So if you look at that, basically you are now thinking of solving the same problem in multiple ways. So that's how the real world is, right? You always have a trade-off. Sometimes you trade off time for space, and sometimes you trade off like space for time. So you need to understand that given the complexity of the project and given the timeline that you have to deliver, right? So based on that, basically you have to understand the trade-off, and basically you have to adopt to one of the solutions and then implement it. So that's how the real world works. And I was learning like those sort of things in the college, and that's what was really fascinating. And then I also came across like Gigs for Gigs. So Gigs for Gigs was a really wonderful site. I think it was pretty small that time when I was solving. So I started solving problems on Gigs for Gigs, and I solved like problems which were pending there for like a year or so. And then I got a mail from like Sandeep that, do you want to join the Gigs for Gigs team? And that's how I became the moderator of Gigs for Gigs. It was really cool that time because the site where people prepare from, I was basically the moderator of that site. I was publishing articles, and I was getting messages from people that the article that you wrote, basically it really helped me. So that was basically the journey. And then Microsoft happened. Basically Microsoft, it was it initially we felt like it was a rumor. Microsoft visited the campus, and there were like 400 students who appeared for it. So there were like two written tests. One was like objective, and the other one was where I had to write code of 3 problems in 60 minutes. So we were able to do it. And then we had like 5 rounds of interviews. So I don't remember the exact timeline, but it seems like after a month or so, Microsoft visited the campus to take interviews. So we had like 5 rounds of interview. So I had like 3 rounds of interview in the first day. Uh, it was so Microsoft. It was really difficult because Microsoft was the only company that visited, only good company that visited Kalinga, and I had a sense, I had the feeling that if I don't crack it, then I will lose the opportunity because Kalinga does not see like too many good companies those days. So I had a feeling that I had to crack it no matter how, and that is why I was like very scared. And out of fear, basically, I was not eating anything, not drinking anything. So 3 rounds went in on that day, and the next day they called me again. So after every round, they were rejecting candidates. So it was like from 400 to 277, and from 277 to 70, then 70 to 14, 14 to 10, 10 to 5, 5 to 2. So that's how. And out of 400, they shortlisted like 2 candidates to work at Microsoft in 2012, and it was like really a nice feeling. So 3 rounds happened that day, and the next day they said that they will take 2 rounds. But when I went to give interview the next day, round of interview was cancelled for me, and I had to give only 1 round. And yeah, so the interview was done, and then there was like rumors in the college, that people they didn't know like who will crack the company. And then after a month or so, I don't remember the exact timeline. Intel visited our campus, and I didn't want to go for interview, but I didn't have any other choice, right? Because Microsoft result did not come, and I was like, if I do not crack Microsoft, then Intel may be the next best opportunity. So I went to give the interview, and that's where it happened. Basically, before my interview for Intel came, basically they announced on stage that two students have been shortlisted, hired by Microsoft, and then they announced my name. So I was like feeling like a celebrity because it was a really big moment for me. So this was the entire journey. So too much hard work, I would say, because I had never done programming in my life before. And
Right.
basically, bar was really high. I didn't want to be rejected. So I was solving a lot of problems day in and day out. I
Yes.
used to bunk classes just to solve problems, do projects, because it felt to me that it is a priority. Uh, One good thing about my college was that attendance was not really that much compulsory. If your attendance is low, they will cut 5 marks. So I was like, I still have like 95 marks to get right, even if they cut 5 marks. So I didn't really worry about that thing, because
Mhm.
to me it seemed like that understanding and practicing data structure and algorithms is much more valuable than attending classes and reading like books and all.
Can you tell us, currently, like which all tech stack did you work, at Microsoft, and what are your core area of expertise?
So one thing about these big companies, right? The FANG or Mang, whatever you say, right? So these companies basically do not talk a lot about the tech stack. So it is like a new project pops in, and you have to deliver no matter what. You have to, if you do not know the tech stack, you have to learn. If you do not know the programming language, you have to learn. So I have delivered projects where I did not have any understanding of the language, and basically I had to learn it and then deliver it within a short period of time. So I would say that I have worked on a variety of platforms: Android, iOS, Windows, web, and for that basically I had to learn like different sort of languages. So I think if I think about it, basically I have worked in like 10 languages at my during my 7 years at Microsoft. C, C++, C Sharp, Java, Swift, Objective C++, Python, and the list goes on. So it is more like basically your understanding, because the thing is you are we are problem solvers, right? We are there to solve problems, and learning a language is just a matter of time. If you can code something in language X, you can also code in something in language Y. You just need to learn it.
So, Ashish, like collectively, you have more than I think 8-9 years of experience now. So, what would be your core area of expertise if you have to say?
uh, I would still say that my core area of expertise is like understanding like ambiguous problems and design a solution for it. I would not say any programming language, because programming languages keeps on coming and going. 7 years ago, we used to develop Android apps in Java. Now they are doing it in Kotlin, right? Similar for like front end technologies. Previously, we had like Angular, JavaScript, and now we have like TypeScript. Now everything has moved to React. And 5 years from now, there may be a new UI tech where programmers will be writing the code. So what's more important is that people should not focus too much on language. Yes, languages matter, but people should focus on problem solving. That the skills that they acquire, right? The skills that they acquire can be reusable 5 years from now or from 10 years from now. The ability to solve ambiguous problems, the ability to basically the debugging ability to fix critical bugs. So all those things, I would say that that is a core competency for me. That no matter how hard the problem is, I don't get scared. I know that I will eventually fix it. I will eventually design it or solve it. Yeah. Sometimes it will take time, one day, 1 week, 1 month, but I will be able to do it. So the never give up attitude, right? I will say that this is a core
So,
competency.
Ashish, as you have spent 7 years with Microsoft, and a lot of developers aspire to work in Microsoft, and I'm pretty sure that during the process you would have taken a lot of interviews for your team as well. Can you help us understand, someone who aspire to work for Microsoft, how should they prepare for the interview? What tips would you like to share with them? How should they go about it, and what approach they should have?
I will break down the preparation in like multiple parts. So the first part is basically your problem solving skills, and problem solving skills will basically include the data structure and algorithms. So you need to understand like how basic data structures work. And once you understand that, basically you have to move towards the advanced data structures. I will talk about that shortly. And then you have to understand like different sort of algorithms. So that is the first thing. The second thing is your behavioral. Behavioral is really important because Nowadays, nobody wants to work with a bad person. So everyone wants a team player, quick learner, all those things, right? The ability to communicate well. So you have got a problem, you need to communicate to the team properly. Otherwise, there will be like too much of ambiguity, and if the communication is not clear, the delivery timeline may be delayed. So those are the things that a company look for. That your attitude should be good. You should not give up. That is why these companies basically look for a lot of things, and uh, you should be really flexible in understanding new things and delivering stuffs. So that is the second thing. The third thing is projects. So projects are not a necessity, but it still helps in your resume shortlisting. So if you have like good projects, working on projects shows that basically you can work on something big and you can deliver things. It also shows that you can work in a team, right? Because if you are working on some project, you will have some friends with whom you will be doing that project. So how you divide the work and how you achieve it, all those sort of things. Now, so these are the three things. uh, so the so everything starts with like your data section algorithm. So those are the basic things that you have to do. For data section algorithms, I would say that so I didn't really read data structure and algorithm data structure from any book. uh, but the basic data structure are like array, stack, queue, heap, linked list, trees, graph, all those things. And then advanced data structures are tries, ternary search tree, suffix array, Fibonacci heap, or jump, skip list, all those things. So it is good to have idea about all those things. And then for algorithms, we have like different sort of books. We have CLRS. Nowadays, we have a lot of resources to prepare for data section algorithms. Geeks for Geeks is one site. Lead Code is another, where you can basically prepare and submit your code to see if your code passes all the test cases or not. And then there are a couple of books like Data Section Algorithms by Narasimha Karumachi, Cracking the Coding Interview by Gail Lockman. And then there's a book, Elements of Programming Interviews. I wish I had known this book in college time. I came to know about this book 2 years ago. This is a really wonderful book. And I think that if someone is preparing for Meta and Google, this book is a must, because this book really explains the patterns really well. So those are the books for data section algorithms. Apart from this, I think people should also focus on fundamentals of database, networking, operating system, and principles of programming languages. So those are the subjects where the fundamentals must be good in order to crack these interviews. Because if you think about this, basically the system that we build runs on some operating system. If it's not on the cloud, and basically we have to fix bugs for uh, memory leaks and then deadlocks, all those things. So understanding is really must in these things.
Awesome. Thank you so
Huh.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, carry on.
Yeah. So after you prepare for basically data section algorithms, all these things that we talked about, the next thing is basically building your resume. And in your resume, if you have like less than 3 years of experience, make sure that you have only one page resume. Remember that every word that you write in the resume costs the space. So try to be as concise and as clear as possible. List on all your projects. Uh, do not write a lot of things because it doesn't really matter. I had like 4 Android projects in college and I worked in Java, but I didn't really write anything in resume because I was not feeling confident that I know Java a lot, although I had done 4 projects. So unless and until you are really confident about something and you are able to answer every question related to it, please do not write anything in the resume. Make it concise and as clear as possible, and list on your projects. Make it as impactful as you can so that your resume can be shortlisted. Uh, Applying for the company can be done in two ways. You can either go to the careers page and apply for the company, or you can find a referral. So I think that finding a referral is better because that way shortlisting, there are higher chances that your resume will be shortlisted. Yeah, that's it.
Take us through the work culture. I mean, how does it feel like working with Microsoft? What opportunities that does Microsoft offer to developers for their learning and growth and development?
So one of the best things that I really found about Microsoft is that I felt really content while working there. Reason being, the products that I was working on, it touched like billions of lives on the planet. So take example, right? I worked in Excel and I worked in PowerPoint. I know that I have written some code that does apply effect to an image in the PowerPoint. So there are many people in the world who are using PowerPoint and inserting image there. So I know that my code is being executed there. So this is a wonderful feeling because something that you worked on has impacted so many lives on the planet. So that is the first thing that I liked about Microsoft. The other thing is that Microsoft has really good diversity. So you have different types of people there. Uh, and the thing is, there's a lot of projects. So if you don't like one project, you can always switch teams. You can work in another project. So there's a lot of things to learn there. Really smart people. So you will never feel that you are the smartest person in the room, because that is a wonderful feeling, because you get to learn from everyone. And the best thing that I like about Microsoft is like work-life balance, and Microsoft really cares about its employees. So there are a lot of good things that happened during COVID. Microsoft really supported uh, all employees. So that was a wonderful thing. So the culture is so in short, smart people, good work-life balance, really good culture, and a lot of things to work on. So you can learn different things there, and it that can support your career growth there.
And can you also take us through a little bit about the perks that Microsoft offers to its employee, personally, professionally, some additional perks apart from what you already mentioned?
Regarding perks, so perks keep on changing based on HR policy. So professionally, basically, these are the same things that I just talked about, like career growth and all those things. Uh, Personally, I think uh, so. The thing is, if you are have a peace of mind, right, your personal life will be good as well. That is what I learned. And the thing is, the problems that you solve, right? So you always basically learn few things on it, like putting structure to the problem and all those things, and doing everything in the organized way, right? You start doing the same thing in your personal life, and your personal life becomes organized. So those are the things. Regarding perks, I think that it's been 1.5 years since I left Microsoft, so few things may have changed, and perks also varies from country to country. Some of the perks like Microsoft offers, um, so it provides buses for commute, um, and then it has like you can get your dentist vision bill reimbursed. You can reimburse your fitness bills. So all those things. These are not, uh, I mean, huge, because of, as compared to the salary that you get. So I would say that these things are like very minuscule as compared to your TC, but it still feels good. Uh, I will say that if people want to join Microsoft, maybe join more for your career growth, big company that you're working at, uh, basically, so that it will reward you professionally and professionally.
Awesome. Awesome. Ashish, it's been more than, I think, 8, 9 years you are in the industry now. Can you share some of the best things that you have learned over these years by working with different companies now that you're working with Amazon as well, which a lot of people aspire to work for? You have worked with Microsoft, you have been a moderator for Geeks as well previously. So all these years of collective learning, how would you like to sum up?
So regarding the best things that I have learned over the years, I think my answer will be a little different from what you must be expecting. So the two things that I can think of that I have really learned and is helping me grow in my career and also in my personal life. First, never give up attitude. So the problems that you see in this while working in these companies, right? Those problems are like really ambiguous, really tricky. So I fear some of the times I found that you won't find answer to those problems online. You go to Stack Overflow and there's no answer to that. So you have to find answers yourself. So there have been days like this that I have got a bug. I went office at 10 o'clock in the morning. I returned after 8 hours, and I did not make any progress. I did the same thing next day. I did not make any progress. It kept on going and going for like 10 to 14 days, and then there was some progress. I saw light at the end of the tunnel. So it is really something that you have to learn. Otherwise, it is really difficult to survive in this industry. So never give up attitude, the grit, right? That you keep on looking and looking and looking until you solve the problem. And the same thing I think applies in your personal life as well, because in your personal life, basically every person is different, right? And every person faces different problems, and every problem has a trade-off. Like you do not have a concrete solution. So those are the things that you can inculcate in your personal life as well. So that is the first thing that I learned. The second thing is you should be vocal, and you should communicate. You should be you should be vocal and be bold enough to express yourself. So this is something that I learned after, I wish I had learned it sooner. So I learned it like after 5 years of experience at Microsoft, that if you're not liking something, right, if you're not liking something, or if you want something to be improved, you need to communicate, because people are not mind readers. If you have something in your mind, you need to speak up, otherwise it will keep on going and going, and you will keep it will be boiling inside you that something is wrong and you are not basically speaking. So this is the thing that I am using here at Amazon as well. If I'm not liking something, i I always try to be bold and express, and it has always worked in my favor. So if there is a project, right, and if you are not liking certain aspect of it, you can talk to your manager, and because this is good for both your career and your manager and the company. Every company wants its employees to work on something that they like, because that way your productivity will be the highest, you will be most productive, and the delivery quality, the product that you deliver, the quality will be like superb.
Awesome. That was
Yes.
the last question that I had for you, Ashish. And I think someone who would be looking at this interview from the lens of joining Microsoft and growing as a developer, I think I'm pretty sure that this interview or this conversation is going to help a lot to the developer. Thank you so much, Ashish, for sharing your experiences, sharing your journey, how you got into Microsoft, from 400 people to 2 people getting selected, you being one of them. It was lovely knowing your journey and all the learnings that you have shared with me and the developers. I mean, I'm really thankful for that. So thank you so much for taking out the time and
Yeah.
having this conversation with Recro.
Thank you, Rashmi, for having me here. It was really wonderful to talk about my journey. Hope it helps someone.
Absolutely, it is surely going to help some people, and I'm pretty sure, and I hope that it bring back some of your memory, the flashbacks. You went and you thought about the things that have been, that have played a major role in your journey so far. So I hope you had a good time too.
Yep. Thank you, Rashmi.